If you're struggling with jumper's knee, here are 10 exercises you can start using today to have less pain and get you back to your favorite sport. If you play a sport where you jump repetitively, like basketball or volleyball, chances are you or one of your teammates has dealt with jumper's knee or patellar tendinopathy. In fact, it's estimated that 20% of jumping sport athletes suffer from jumper's knee at any point in time during a competitive season. Now, to help you understand what's going on here, let's take these two bands. The big one is your tendon, the little one is your muscle. There's always a little bit of tug of war going on here, but if you don't have balance between the two, the tendon gets too stiff, and if you're constantly loading it fast by jumping and cutting explosively, it can get irritated. So if your goal is to get healthy, we need to introduce you to some slow and heavy lifting in your program. But before you immediately think I'm going to start training you like a powerlifter, please realize that's not the case. In today's video, we're going to cover 10 of my favorite exercises that specifically target your quads, calves, and even shifts your center of gravity back to help get those knees feeling great. Now before we dive in, if you're liking the content here at the channel, please make sure to like this video and subscribe so you know each and every week when a new video drops. Now, let's get in the gym and get those knees feeling right. First things first, before I give you any exercises, tip number 1 to get rid of your jumper's knee is to shift your center of gravity back. Now, this may seem silly, you may not understand why it's important, but here's the thing. A lot of basketball players, a lot of volleyball players, part of what makes them great is they get pushed really far forward. They get on their toes, so anytime they try and change levels, instead of being able to use their glutes and hamstrings to distribute that force, it's all coming right there through that patellar tendon. So what I need you to do in your workout at some point in time, drag a sled backwards, do some goblet squats with your heels elevated, do some front foot elevated split squats. Any sort of activity that shifts your center of gravity back should help you alleviate or reduce your jumper's knee pain. One of my favorite exercises for addressing jumper's knee is a backwards sled drag. Now, there's tons of ways you can do this. You could do like a Zerker hold, you could put a belt around your waist. I'm gonna do it today with TRX straps. But what you're gonna do here, you're gonna take the slack out, you're gonna sit down into it, and you're gonna allow the muscles in between your shoulder blades to relax. So you're getting a nice stretch, you're sitting into this position, and then as you take this little short step back, you wanna feel your whole foot, and you wanna make sure you can feel your quad and a little bit of your glute or your butt on that back side. So you're gonna go nice and slow, feel that whole foot, and push. Go for about 10 to 15 reps, and I'll go anywhere from 4 to 6 sets, generally either at the start or the end of a workout. Now, I've got basketball players that have chronic stuff, and if they got to get on the court, they got to play that night, their knees are really bothering them, they can do 3 sets of this for 30 to 45 seconds. They may not feel perfect, but they feel good enough to get on the court. So if you've never tried these, give them a shot. What you're going to do, you need a heavy band. You're going to wrap it around a rack or whatever you have access to, and then you're going to step into the band and just place it behind your knees. Very important. If male or female, doesn't matter. If you have leg hair, use tights, use some sort of compression gear, pants, whatever you have access to so you don't destroy your leg hair. So what you want to do, you want to walk back just to a point where you can feel your whole foot, you're nice and balanced, and then you're just going to sit down into whatever position is comfortable. You may have to adjust yourself just a little bit to get where you want to be, but once you're there, I like to reach long and just think about holding this position for anywhere from 30 to 45 seconds. If it's too easy, you can always grab a little bit of weight, but most people find if they're doing this for 30 to 45 seconds, by the end of that third set, they're already feeling better and their knees are ready to rock. The soleus is a key muscle for deceleration or for helping you slow down or building a better set of brakes. And research has shown that people that suffer from patellar tendinopathy or jumper's knee generally have a weak soleus on the affected side versus the other. So we need to get in the gym and we need to train it. So in this case, what we're gonna do, I've got a seated calf. If you don't have access to a seated calf, put a dumbbell on your leg and do this on your own at your gym. It will still work. So in this case, what I want you to do, some of the details are very important. I want you to get a nice stretch in the bottom. You should feel a stretch through your Achilles and your heel cord. I want you to come up nice and tall through your big toe, and I want you to control it back down. The Achilles is a very big and elastic tendon, so you're gonna wanna use momentum and bounce around. Do not do that. Go slow, go controlled, feel the entire range of motion, and I guarantee it's gonna make a big impact on your soleus strength. When people are struggling with patellar tendon issues, one of the big things you want to focus on is quad strength. But I think a lot of times if you see somebody doing something like a leg extension, they're just like cranking reps out, using a lot of momentum, and they're not getting the most out of that activity. So instead, what I like to do is really focus on the eccentric phase or the lowering phase of my leg extension. So I'm gonna start with good posture. I'm gonna come straight up. I'm gonna hold at the top, and then I'm gonna take 2 to 3 seconds coming back down before I go into that next rep. So really working on owning the entire range of motion, but really slow and controlled on that eccentric. So we're really working to build up and strengthen that quad. If you're struggling with jumper's knee, an eccentric single leg squat is a fantastic way to start rebuilding your quad and just make sure everything feels better. So in this case, what I've got is a slant board, I've got a box, and I've just built it up just a little bit so I don't have to go through a super deep range of motion. Now again, the emphasis here is on the eccentric, so I don't mind a little bit of support. So if you want to stand near something or hold on to like a TRX or suspension trainer for some more stability, I'm totally cool with that. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna come up on one leg, give yourself a little bit of support, and then you're gonna take 3, 4, maybe even as long as 5 seconds to control down. Okay, so you're gonna control, 2, 3, load that quad, and then push. Now, if the pushing part is uncomfortable and you don't like how it feels, what I ask you to do, go nice and controlled down, and then you can actually put your other foot down and come up, and then just reset. So regardless of how you come up, I don't care so much about that. Really focus on dialing in that eccentric and trying to load that quad. Our next option is blood flow restriction training on a spin bike, or BFR for short. So this is a great opportunity to get some low-level aerobic activity in while building a bigger, stronger quad muscle. I've used this with a lot of my high-level basketball players who've had chronic patellar issues, and this almost always helps clear it up. So all you're gonna do, get the blood pressure cuff as high as you can on your hip. You're gonna find just a moderate pace, and you're just gonna hang out here and ride for 15, 20 minutes straight. We never go any longer than 20 minutes, but if you're using like 60 to 80% of whatever your optimal pressure is on the BFR cuff, I guarantee you're gonna be feeling this just a few minutes into your workout. Our next activity combines 2 of my favorite tools. Number 1, we got our Smart Tools BFR device, but we also have a monkey foot. So in this case, what we're doing is BFR Leg Extension. So this is fantastic, especially if you have some atrophy or your quadricep is actually getting smaller because of some of the pain that you're having with your knee. I really love this activity because it's gonna help juice that quad up, make it a little bit bigger, a little stronger, and hopefully take some pressure off your patellar tendon. So in this case, I got a little pad underneath my knees. I'm gonna get good posture, and then I'm gonna come up and I'm gonna go nice and controlled throughout my range of motion here. Now, a lot of the BFR techniques that you'll hear, like 30, 15, 15, 15, you can use protocols like that, but in this case, I'll start very simple. 3 sets, 10 to 15 reps, and whenever you get to 15 reps with a specific weight, go ahead and jump up to the next weight you have available to you. Up to this point, we've shifted your center of gravity back, we've built your quads, we've built your calves. Now it's time to start reintroducing some rate-focused activities back into your workout. So in a perfect world, you do something like a flywheel squat. So the great thing about this is we're not just focused on pushing hard, but we're focused on distributing some of that force in the eccentric. Now it's not true eccentric overload. I don't want the internet people coming after me. I realize it's not truly eccentric overload, but I like to think of it as eccentric emphasized training. Okay, so what you're gonna do here, get this flywheel going. I like to use a little PVC pipe or something just to give me a little bit of a counterbalance, and it allows me to really lock the position in, push, and then I'm working on stopping and turning that weight back around. Our final activity is also done on a flywheel. In this case, we're using a split squat. So squats are great, but they're a bilateral activity. This allows us to really focus all of the strength and all of the load on that front leg. So this will be true mastery if I can pull all this off, because I gotta get the wheel spinning, I gotta get set up. But essentially, you're just in your split squat stance, and you are trying to feel balance and push through that front leg. All right, friends, you're now armed with a ton of exercises to help get rid of that jumper's knee and get you back to the sports you love. But if you really want to supercharge these exercises, make sure to watch these videos on how to unlock your hips or your feet and ankles to really get those knees feeling amazing. Good luck.